Hi, and welcome to On Point. I'm your host, Nakiva Bryant, and along with me today I have my co-host, Miss Rebecca Hart, and our guest, Mr. Kenneth Johnson. Rebecca, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a Memphis native, and I spent the last 2 years serving on the Shelby County Young Democrats Board, working professionally in political campaigns such as the city mayor at the time, Mayor A.C. Wharton, the city councilman, Martavius Jones, and other political leaders and business leaders throughout the city of Memphis. So I spent my time in marketing and communications arena helping personal brands and business development.
Okay, good. Mr. Johnson?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a native out of Memphis, Orange Mound neighborhood, where I mentor young men and women and try to get them engaged in the conscious music production. And I'm a community activist involved in different situations that happens in the neighborhood and try to curtail some violence and educate our youth.
Okay. Well, now, since you know a little bit of something about my co-host and our guest, we're going to jump right into our topic. It's a little controversial, y'all. The topic is, the white man is not our problem. We are. Mr. Johnson, you looked at me like, what?
Wow, that's something. Some people jump on either side of the fence, depending on who they think is listening or who will see this broadcast. But me, myself, it could be justified by saying that if we be honest, the European in America pretty much runs the show and controls the narrative. What do y'all think?
I think that
In the beginning, it could have been reflected that way, but now as centuries have progressed and the African American community has become more economical, advanced, I believe it's switching over. And you have people in roles like Beyonce and Jay-Z who are taking over and managing their own wealth as far as media entities, or Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry. So I think there is room for advancement for economic power within the media, entertainment with that spectrum that wasn't there years before. So we're not there yet, but it's slowly switching over in that regard.
I mean, in my opinion, how can we as an African American community blame white people for our demise? And especially when the police officers they say, okay, I want to protest. White police officer killed a young black man, but we're not protesting when black on black crime. I'm just confused. So how is the white man our problem? It seems like we are our own problem.
I believe it's a justified derangement, meaning that again, traditionally, the African Americans, we had to fight. We had to fight for everything. We had to fight for justice. We had to fight for education. We had to fight for jobs. We're still fighting. So and we're fighting amongst ourselves, and that's okay. But as soon as another race comes in and fights against us, then we, at that point, we propel and we come together and say, hey, that's not right. We know we're fighting against ourselves, but
we don't know
we're not going to let you come over here and make our fight even worse.
Well, okay, but we're fighting more against ourselves than we're fighting against anyone else. And we in the community have a crab-like mentality. So you're a producer, right?
Yes.
You do music.
Yes.
So you're out there making a living doing your music, but you have someone that say, oh, Kenneth is out there, he's doing his music, and they're talking bad about you. Is that the white man? That's your peer.
Yeah.
So how's the white man? I'm just trying to understand, how can we continue to blame the white man for everything? We cannot continue to blame the white man for everything. It's going to come a time and day where we're going to have to be accountable for our own actions.
I think that time is now. Some of the people you speak of, like Beyonce, Jay-Z, they have bosses, people who sign their checks, and they will control their narrative from the back, behind the scenes, because they tell them, let them know, we'll support this, we won't support that. In other words, we'll promote anything that doesn't really promote your people. Like some of the moves that Beyonce has been doing for years in front of the camera. Cameras shining right up to between the legs, her crotch and everything. Jay-Z bragging, boasting about selling dope and shooting people through the early stages of his career, even now. I mean, the true power.
But okay, I'm listening to you. The last time I checked, Jay-Z and Beyonce, I believe, and plus Jay-Z and Beyonce are not in our community. How can we sit here and talk about Jay-Z and Beyonce, people with millions and millions of dollars? Let's bring it back to the community. We don't have millions of dollars. We're trying to have a solution for our community.
But our children see them on television and hear them on the radio.
So we
see
blame
them on the
the
internet.
Okay, so we're saying, okay, Beyonce and Jay-Z, they have all this money, and the white man told them to go into the community and destroy it.
The boss signs checks for things that works in his people's best interest. He's not going to promote anything that's going to promote black people for the most part.
Why can't we just promote ourselves? Why can't we as black people promote ourselves? I mean,
Well, surplus. We don't economics. I mean, we're not blaming per se the white man for our failure and contributions of life. However, there are limitations. We just don't have the money.
well,
So-
we can have them. Okay, like when Hispanics come over here, Africans, what they do, they come together. They put their money in a pot. They go. They buy like the Arabs. They put their money together. They buy stores. They purchase nail salons. We can't do that.
Right.
Why is it? That's what I'm saying.
A cultural
Why is it?
mindset. They're embedded from youth. You got to go back to look at the culture, look at the identity, look at the upbringing. They came together. They started. You have to understand that Africans, before we were brought over to this country, we were a united, close-knit family too, but we were brainwashed to come against ourselves. So now we still have that Jim Crow mentality within our own community. So that's one challenge within itself. We were brainwashed and trained to come against one another, so we can't come together. Versus the Arabs and the Mexicans and the Vietnamese that come over here and live in one house and they build their businesses. Next thing you know, they're dominating the beauty industry and they don't even know anything about beauty. So how's the Vietnamese coming over here getting business loans to open up beauty supplies, and I can't get a business loan to get a $5,000, you know,
Well, that's
whatever.
true.
I mean, it's
so.
just,
Do you question? Do you think that? Do you consider us Africans? We're Africans. You're Africans, because African people, they don't like when we call ourselves African American. They say, "Oh, you're not African. You're not African." They feel
we're
insulted.
African descent, but no, we're African American. But you gotta check your ancestry, your bloodline, where do we descent from, you know? But you you become your environment at the end of the day, and that root culture cannot be dismayed. It can't be dismissed. It's there. So we have to identify root issues to understand why we operate the way we do. We have sometimes it takes us going all the way back.
Now
So
what about when they say give me my 3 acres and a mule?
40 acres and a
40,
mule.
yeah, 40 acres and a mule.
Well, that's another one of those contracts that were broken by the Europeans, just like some of the contracts he put forth with the Native Americans. But there's also a good hustle game of divide and conquer goes on, because some Africans, when they come over here, they come over with large investments and money, have money way back in their homelands to support them and back them. And also, when they come over here to try to start businesses, they're given a video. Some people talks about videos and programs that have briefings that have said, do not communicate, don't engage with the African Americans because they're no good, they're thieves and criminals, lying and deceitful people.
So again, it goes back to the fight. You know, one step ahead, 2 steps back. Everything that we do is reflective and approach, meaning that everything that we have tried to attempt to progress the community as a whole, there's some white man preventing that from happening.
Well,
That may be preventing that from happening, so to speak. Not necessarily to say that that action will be.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I am sorry. When my mother, I was raised by a single mother who raised me in Bartlett, Tennessee. I have many white friends, and none of them held me back from going to school. None of them held me back from going into anywhere, doing anything. We hold each other back.
And
we hold each other. That's why I
has
can't.
anyone black held you back from going to school? Like your white friends you talk about.
Matter of fact, I had since we talk about black and white, I had I was in high school. I applied for a scholarship with my church.
Okay.
My aunt told my mom, I gave the application to my mom. My mom was supposed to give it to the church. My aunt told her not to give it to her because the lady at church said, oh, she's going to get that scholarship because their family don't have that much money, blah, blah, blah. And she was black. So I didn't even get the scholarship at church because of this, because she said, oh, she's going to get the money anyway. So that was a black person holding me back.
So you're saying the person that is holding us back is a black person before a white person?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Ooh,
I mean,
I think it's gonna be a hard job. You try to wrench some of the blood off the Europeans' hand. That's a magnificent job. That's gonna.
I mean,
well, you got to understand what's taking place behind the scenes too, because when the smoke clears, it's always somebody at top that's controlling. You may be the puppet. The puppet may be black.
Well,
but the main puppeteer may be white. The puppet
well,
master may be white.
I don't know about y'all, but the only boat that I was brought back on was the boat at what's the place with Bass and Pro. That's the only boat that I was on, the Bass and Pro boat.
Wow.
Nowhere was I shackled to nothing.
Okay. Well, let's not forget about Black Wall Street now. We have been successful in starting our own thing and doing everything, run our own community successfully. Own malls, stores, and libraries, schools, hospitals.
Well, why can't we do that now?
We can do it now, but we have to worry about what happened, think about what happened with Black Wall Street. They flew over Black Wall Street and bombed it.
Okay.
Killed up hundreds of men, women, and children.
Okay.
Behind a small claim. And that's the first bombing that happened in America in U.S. history, overflight bombing. You know.
Well, I mean, I've read history. It states that Oklahoma was bombed. But again, what I'm trying to say is that
who do you think put the education institution in place? Who said who came up with the idea to you go to school, get a degree, go to college, and go work for the white man in corporate America? To them, that's the way of success. And this has been brought up and this has been stigmatized for the past centuries, but in actuality, it's not the only way of success. And until we come into that realization that we hold the power in our own hands to create wealth, become entrepreneurs, to become leaders, regardless of what anybody says, then we can be successful. But at the end of the day, but they still have some regard because they are the ones that implemented the system and said, hey, you got to go to school 4 years. When you come out, and when you get through getting $80,000 in debt, you got to come work for a white man, and we may or may not give you a job.
Take the debt off.
And take the debt out. And if you come work for us, we'll forgive your debt. So in a sense, they still do have a sense of control, even when you go through their cycle of success or educational success, how they set it up to be, or how they are presenting it to be, in their way of what success should be for the African American. Because what they say the only way you can be successful is get a degree and get a paper. But we know now that that's not true. Because of entrepreneurship, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, they're showing you there are other ways to create success.
Well, guys, this conversation is really, really getting heated. What we're going to do, we're going to take a break right here at this time. And when we come back, we're going to finish this topic. The white man is not our problem. We are. And you guys, like I said, I've been listening to you guys. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm brought over here on a boat and shackled down. Y'all going to have to help me. But we'll be back after
Move
these.
shackles.
Move the shackles.
Yeah, the shackles.
Lord have mercy. Okay. Oh, Lord. We'll be back after these messages.
When you can't do it all, do what you can. Caring for others. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
TTEN.
Welcome back to On Point. Guys, this has truly, the first half has truly been amazing. We're talking about the white man is not our problem. We are. And during the break, we were talking about wealth, setting up wealth for our children. Well, what do you guys feel about that? Because I know when I die, I don't have any kids, but I feel like when black people, we as African Americans, when we pass, we don't leave our family or children anything. We leave them debt. We leave them in debt. When white America passes, they leave what is it? They help me out, y'all. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Well, the Bible says that the wise man leave inheritance for his children. So if we are
right.
really embedded in the Word of God and what He says. He's showing you, He's giving you instructions on how to live on earth and what to do before you leave. So our negligence of studying the Word of God for ourselves and living out following instructions is negligence on our part, because we're not doing our part. You know, the instructions were left, so we necessarily can't blame the white man for that.
Right.
But we have to, at some point, become acknowledged and become self-empowered to go out here and, hey, I got to do something.
The
Self-empowerment.
life insurance.
Self-empowerment.
That's what I was talking about.
Life insurance.
Life insurance.
Uh-huh.
When white America passes, they leave a life insurance of millions, $100,000 for their kids. So when their kids grow up, they have something to take them into their future, to help them to go forward. When our folk die, they leave
We got to start a GoFundMe account to have the
Will you
burial.
please bury Ray Ray? Will you please buy this chicken plate? No, instead of getting life insurance. And then when we get the life insurance, oh, I'm gonna bury mama in this big old gold casket.
Okay.
Mama, I'm gonna tell you now. I'm gonna be on live TV. I'm gonna bury you nice, but you leave me $100,000. I'm gonna give you a good 8.
Right.
Thank you. Next.
Well, hey, I tell you what, we're speaking of the Word of God and legacy, things like that. I'm looking at where the hood money actually goes.
Okay.
The hood money in America, black African American money, has built a lot of mega churches, big millionaires, close to billionaires. I mean, you have brothers like T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar. A lot of black people have contributed to Joel Osteen's church, even though he's shown them what he thinks about them after the hurricane. But we're going to keep with the black preachers. We got multi millions of dollars. We could build schools, clinics, stuff like that. Car dealership, airport. We could go back to a black Wall Street if we really wanted to. With all that money that we're garnering and putting into church, religion, and we're talking about doing God's will. I wish the brothers who run these mega churches would really do God's will and treat us like we're family and help us the same way we have this conversation, have the conversation with among them if they want to. Because I heard one brother getting people together to get a $65 million jet. I'm thinking about all the businesses that $65 million could have financed, but they have people who justified in the community. It was, well, okay, you let them go ahead and get it. But it's all good, you know, but we got to deal with this reality of this money.
So do you think that the black churches are a downfall?
No, I wouldn't say it's a downfall, but I have my own sight on religion. Well, first of all, religion, who brought you religion? Religion was brought to you by your slave owners, Islam and Christianity.
Okay.
The Bible and the Quran is pro-slavery. Fact, not my opinion, it's facts. And, you know, a lot of people that look and take religion, it's been beat to us so much, it's taboo with us. When to discuss religion, we're like, oh, no. And I heard a lot of black historians say to get black people to go along with what you say, especially black women, is just say Jesus said it, and they're going to ride with you, like they heard it straight out of God's mouth.
Well, okay.
Well,
so
for the emotionally weak, and that will make work.
Yeah,
but someone that's
right.
self-knowledge and read the word and have personal, again, it goes back to the logos in the Rhema word of God. When you're reading the word of God, the Bible says He will reveal those things unto you. So if you have a personal relationship, something is not going to be. I'm not going to hear your message and be like, okay, I'm going with that. No, I'm going to read it for myself, and from the interpretation, God will reveal me and show me the way. He'll give me wisdom.
Because He says, "Study and show thyself approved." That's the
So
word.
if you don't study, then you can't be approved in the things that you're seeking out for. Your approval was from a man, and a man may have a hidden agenda, which is for his own personal profit.
So do you think that the mega churches that are being built, that they're used as control mechanism for the
sure.
community?
That's why they get that faith-based check every month, because religions, the churches, and the mosques keep the haves from attacking keep the have-nots from attacking the haves. Keeps people same sleep. It's a sleeping mechanism. If you ask me, I think the religion is the biggest weapon used against African American men and women.
But you got but let's go back. The first segment you were talking about slavery. Well, the Bible and Christianity is what helped our ancestors go through that period.
Yeah, I agree.
So how
Well,
can that be?
What about the people that were not religious at all but ran off, still had the mindset to run away and get free?
I think those are inherited traits that each
Right.
individual have. Like
Right.
some people are just born leaders. Some people are going to be born followers. It's already embedded in your DNA because
Right.
that's how God wired you genetically.
Right.
So there's
Right.
nothing you can say to persuade me to be the opposite of who I already am.
Right, I think
Absolutely.
it's common sense in the human nature to want to be free
Right.
and live free. That's just common sense, but
But you got to
these days
understand
common
when
sense
the-
ain't common.
Go ahead.
The Declaration of Proclamation, if I'm saying it correctly, was released for the slaves to be free. There were still percentages of African American slaves who chose not
That
to
they
leave the
chose
plantation.
not to be.
There's still some who
Because
choose
they
not to
was-
be free
right,
today.
They chose not to be free, and they still
let's
remain
talk,
same today.
let's talk about slavery in depth as far as they tore down, what were the projects? What were they?
Dixie Homes.
Dixie Homes. Now, how can you tell me, how can you say, okay, I'm going to tear down Dixie Homes, but you can go get you a house in Germantown, live exactly how you want to live, blah, blah, blah. But you go out there, you tear it up. You go out,
Well,
you
first
go out
of
there,
all,
tear it
Right
up.
where?
In Germantown.
Well,
They went out, Germantown torn up?
No, okay. You got to, you have, okay. They're telling our people in the homes, you know, they tore down Dixie Homes.
Section 8.
Section 8. Section 8, you can go out and you can get homes in Bartlett or Germantown. So
They
you're
don't even
telling me,
qualify income wise, so how can they get a
so
home?
you telling me if they telling our community to go out and get homes out there and they tear them up, that it's the white man's fault that they tore the houses?
No, it's bad when you destroy yourself and blame somebody else. So if they're going out there,
Accountability.
right? If they're going out there and tearing up the neighborhood,
That's what I'm saying. Accountability.
That's
You
their
got to-
fault.
So it's our responsibility as African American people to educate our
Yes.
community.
Yes.
So when we go out there and get those nice homes, that we're educated up here. Because if you take the person out of the ghetto and you don't educate their mind, they're going to take the ghetto mentality over there to those
Right.
new homes.
That's true.
You cannot do that. So it's not the white man's fault. We have to educate our people. We have to teach our children that, okay, you can be more than a drug dealer. You can be,
Yes.
you can play more than basketball. You can be more than a singer
Right.
or this, or be an entertainer, be a doctor, be a lawyer. But our people tell each other, no, you don't be a lawyer, just settle to be a lawyer's assistant. Oh, don't be a doctor, just settle to be a nurse. Stop telling our kids to settle. It's
Right.
not the white man telling them to settle. This is us. We
Right.
are our own problem. We are our own demise. Stop settling. We got to stop settling.
I said stop selling, but I dare not cleanse his hands for him, all he's done. But we got to really be on ourselves, on our kids, and educate our children. And things we're saying here now, make sure we enforce those to the kids. Hopefully they'll see this program right here and they'll take heed to this and go out and do those things.
But we got to teach them. The people in the church, our black churches, our black leaders, we have to go out into the community. It's okay to raise millions and millions of dollars in the church, but if you don't take those millions of dollars and educate your community, we're going to forever be lost. A lost generation. You
Right.
cannot live like, and it's not the white man's fault that the black people, we as black people, are lost when we need to educate our own selves. Accountability. So we're gonna throw that
Again,
off
it goes
on white
back
people.
to the Jim Crow slave mentality.
Okay.
When we became free, the proclamation was signed, we're free. So they have already embedded in our minds that we weren't significant enough based on the color of our skin. So what
Okay.
happened? We get free, we go out here, we get a little education, get progression, then we start hating each other.
Right,
Because
'cause we don't think-
I'm not your skin
Right,
color,
you
you're not in my
darker than
clique.
me. You
So let's
darker than me.
form an organization, AKA, so all the pretty girls, if you're not a shade color of my skin color,
That's
because
right.
back in the day, you had to be a certain skin complexion to be a part of it.
That's
So-
the Willie Lynch syndrome.
It's
I
a
think
Willie
it's
Lynch syndrome.
I
That's
think the
exactly-
Willie Lynch syndrome has been upgraded now. Black people are separating themselves by which church and
The church you
religion
go to
we
or your
in.
economic
I'm
status.
Church of God in
Yeah.
Christ. I'm Baptist.
Christian or,
I'm Methodist. We're full
Islam,
gospel. Yeah. And but
So that was successfully infiltrated by the Caucasian. So and I know we're trying to get
Right.
away from blaming. We're not blaming, but it's still a stigmatized.
we can't blame them.
It's
No,
gonna be hard for you
cannot blame them
to.
for
He can't
everything.
even vindicate himself when he's on trial. So it's gonna be hard for one of us to try to free him of his guilt, because it's too much evidence. It's hundreds of years of evidence. I mean, he's looking at Do you ever ask yourself why they still hate us? They got everything. They look at us, they still don't like us. A lot of them, when they look at us, they see what they have done. They see their filth, their wrong doing. They see broken people, and they see that they're responsible for some of the brokenness in them. I mean facts. I don't mean opinion.
No, but our children, we cannot raise our children to believe that, okay, it's the white man's fault. So you got to live your whole life saying,
oh, no.
I didn't go to school because it's the white man's fault. No. I didn't do this because...
No.
Stop.
No, you can't do that.
I don't think
so.
That's not good conversation.
Now tell me this. What's the solution? What we came up with everything. Now let's come up with a solution.
I say
the last part of this show. Let's come up with a solution.
I say the solution that we control our own education.
Exactly.
Make sure that it shows our culture, African culture. Mm-hmm. Teach them about Akibulan. That's right. What we called Africa. Before Leo Africanos, whenever they called it Africa, we called it Akibulan. Mm-hmm. Teach them our true history. What we're doing, teach them that they built the first 3 universities on earth. Teach them that they invented science and mathematics, Imhotep, Ethiopia. Teach them that and be truthful and show them the facts where they can't deny it and the haters can't deny it.
Okay.
And they will succeed. Their spirit is going to bring them through. If they see the great things they have done in the past, they can do them now. But if we just say that our history started with slaves, we was just slaves, that's it, it's going to be downtrodden.
And we also need to show the generation that the traditional concept of going to school, getting an education, I keep going back to this, there's nothing wrong. I'm finishing my education as well, but at the highest altitude possible. But I'm just saying that's not the only way. Formal education is one way, then self-education is the way that most millionaires have become successful, because we have tapped into the creative ingenuity realm and cultivated ideas and concepts that created wealth, especially with the technology advancing now, internet marketing. There are a plethora of internet marketing millionaires that's walking around you wouldn't even know, because they have learned a system and they have perfected a system that's not being taught in traditional modalities of the school. So in order to get this wealth, they're not teaching that. Tell you to go to school to become wealthy. They're telling you to go to school to work a job for the corporate white man.
Well,
if you want to learn how to create wealth, you need to get a mentor, a business, and learn how to sit up under that person and learn how to create wealth on their own.
Start producing good employees.
Instead of certain worker bees, as Cardi B call it.
I think the solution is accountability.
That's it.
We have to be accountable for our children. We have to be accountable for ourselves. We cannot continue to blame everybody for what has happened to us. If I go out there and I hurt my foot, I'm not going to continue to blame the concrete all day. The concrete tripped me. The concrete tripped me. No, I'm going to learn how to get up on my own, walk, and say, hey, I'm not going to let anything control me or keep me down. Keep me down.
That's it.
Well, guys, this has truly been an awesome show about a culture, about solutions, about life in general. And to each and every one of you, just accountability. Be progressive in the things that you do. Now, thank you again for watching On Point. I am your host, Nakiva Bryant, with my co-host, Rebecca Hart. And thank you again, Kenneth Johnson, for being our guest.